Doo-doo-doo, boop, boop, bow, wow, wow, wow.
Theme song, theme song. Theme song, theme song.
Welcome to the Can Complain podcast. Hello, everyone.
Welcome back.
Welcome. It has been a while, almost a month. About
Has it?
October
I guess.
20th, I think, was our last episode. So I'm sorry that we abandoned you all.
We are a monthly podcast. You
No.
hear from us once a month.
No, we're gonna,
Literally, yes.
well, right now, but we're going to try to be better about it. Listen, again, it's busy season. I'm done traveling. I am finally home base, thankfully. But Mikey is not out of the woods yet because
not
she
even close.
still has a lot of holiday photo shoots that she's doing.
Yep.
I think really your popularity skyrocketed after that first commercial in episode 1.
All because of the podcast.
Yeah. Hey everyone. Use code PHOTO for 2% off one of Mikey's photo packages. But yes, it's good to be back. So much has happened in pop culture since last month. Taylor Swift has re-released 1989. Listen, I think I love it in the sense of those are the best vault tracks she's ever put out. Is it over now?
I do. I don't know that they're the best that she's ever put out. Collectively, I don't think they're necessarily the best.
Yeah, I mean, is
I
it
would
over
argue-
now? It just takes the cake.
Well, yeah,
for
I love
me.
it. I also love the other one. Now that we don't talk.
Now that we don't talk, stay,
But-
don't go.
But to me, I think Red has some of the best vault
Okay.
tracks. Red's vault tracks are
Hot
great.
take. Hot take. I will tell you though, Style Taylor's version is just
Not the
it's
same.
not it for me. I'm sorry. I know that people out there will not be happy with me saying that. I do not care. It is the truth. And a lot of people on the internet also agree with me. So that's how I know I'm right. If the internet says it, then it's true. Oh my goodness. For our viewers on YouTube, look at how cute Pig is. He is such a snuggle bug. He's like, ugh, I want to eat him.
He's just resting.
Do you ever do that with your pets where you just look at them and you're like, I want to rip your leg off and eat it like a turkey sandwich, and I would like cook you in a soup because I love you, and
We say to Pig every single day, I wish I could cook you and eat you for dinner without harming you.
But yeah, so 1989, definitely enjoyed it. This whole Travis Kelce thing,
We will not be commenting on.
it's going to get a lot of people angry at us. Listen, I think Travis Kelce is a very attractive person. I can totally see the appeal. Personally, for me, I don't know. Like, I watched the Kelce documentary, which
We
focuses
watched the Kelce documentary
before they started
dating.
Yeah,
We did.
like we watched it before they started dating. So I feel like I maybe manifested that. No, but you know, they're a very it seems to me that they are a very conservative family. They're very much like, the brother is very much like, I work, you mom, you stay at home. He doesn't listen to his wife's wishes. She wishes he would retire.
Yeah.
He does not
They've
listen to that.
She had like 2 babies in the span of a couple years or something like that.
He missed a child's birthday to go to be on SNL, which, like, listen, I love SNL. But, like, you don't think that your brother is ever going to host again? You don't think that there's ever going to be another opportunity to, like, go to SNL? Like, you're famous in your own right. Like, if you wanted to just go, I am sure they would give you a ticket to go. I just thought that was not great. And I don't think his wife thought that was great either.
Yeah, it seemed
But
a
they
little
just seem to be very much a traditional, which I think this is what everyone like loves. It's just giving like Americana.
Yeah, it's giving the cheerleader dating the football player. That's all it is.
Right. It's literally giving like Fearless era.
Yeah.
Like, to me, this would have made more sense. This relationship would have made more sense had it been back then.
Or when she was re-releasing Fearless.
Right. But it's just like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Everyone says that he has cheated on every girl he has ever been with. I don't know how accurate that is. I did not follow his love life.
Yeah.
But many sources say, and that's what football players, they're known. Athletes are known to always be on the road, to always be traveling. Granted, she is too, but they're known to be players. And I just feel like, looking at him, as pretty as he is fuckboy central.
Yeah.
Central. And I just don't know how I feel about it, if it is a real relationship. Which is a whole other story.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, it could be PR for many reasons, right?
Yeah.
I think there's
I think people who say that why would either of them need a PR relationship don't know anything about anything. Sorry, guys. Like,
Yeah.
why do Kleenex have commercials? Everybody buys Kleenex, but there's no such thing as too much publicity.
Right.
There's no such thing.
Well, I think too, when we look historically at Taylor Swift fans, they're women. She's really tapped into the, female demographic.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk to most men about Taylor Swift, they either are repulsed by her because toxic masculinity and misogyny, or they're like, yeah, she's good, and you ask them their favorite song and they're like, shake it off,
Right.
They don't really know much about her.
Yeah.
So now catapulting her into the NFL sphere, this America's pastime where the fan base is predominantly men, it's opening their eyes to like, well, if one of these dudes that I admire and if I was gay would probably bone is having sex with Taylor Swift, then maybe I need to like be open to the idea of her.
Right.
And yeah, it's just giving.
And also it's putting him and football in general in a world where now women are more interested than they maybe would have been in the past.
Well, it's true. The data showed that like viewership went up like 400% in women 20 to whatever.
Yeah.
It's mutually beneficial. And again, just because it's PR doesn't mean they don't actually like each other.
Right. No, but they're definitely using it for their own benefit.
Right.
For sure.
Like when she ran up and kissed him after the show.
Right.
The tent was 2 centimeters
Right.
behind them. Her dad was sitting there with Travis and then disappeared into the tent, and then she ran up and kissed him. She couldn't go and greet him in the tent.
Right. Not that she has to hide her relationship,
Again, no.
but
Mrs. Every song I write is about hiding, and any relationship that you see is what I want you to see, and the things I love the most, I keep in secret. She has said this many, many times.
Yep.
It's like
she's been saying it for years.
For years and years and years. And it's like, okay, we hardly saw her with her last relationship, which I also think
was partially
she did
him.
not like. I do think he really, although he's an actor, did not want to be in the spotlight. Make sense. An actor, I say generously. But it's like, I think he wanted her to hide too much.
Yeah.
But I also do think she knows, like, if my relationship is as public as this, if it doesn't work out, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And I think she's fine. I think if she cared about this relationship to the point where she thinks she's going to marry him, she wouldn't be all up in the face with this. I don't think.
I agree. Because there are some people who are theorizing that they actually have sort of been dating longer than we're aware, which is obviously completely possible. Because again, I do believe that she keeps things close to her chest.
Yeah.
I really do. However, even if it's been a few months longer than we're aware, I don't think it can be much longer than that. And I just find it so hard to believe that after all she's been through in life and the media, that she would make her life now about this other guy, because that is what she's doing. She right now is at the peak of her career. There's no way to argue that.
Right.
And now she's singing about him on like she's putting his like team name in her song on tour. Like that to me, I think takes it to another level where if this was a relationship that she really saw as being like the long-term relationship, I don't think she would do that. And I'm not saying that it's impossible. Maybe this is her person, that I'd be so happy for her, whatever. But I just think that it's a little bit odd to be doing that so early on, knowing what she knows from all her past relationships.
Right. And it's like, if she didn't marry the person after that she was with for 6 years, like, I just think people, it's so funny because she asks people to not speculate on her relationships.
As we sit here speculating.
Which, like, I'm never, sorry, Taylor, not going to respect that wish. Like, it's just like, I speculate people's relationships of, like, non-famous people.
Right.
When you're famous, people are going to speculate,
Right.
especially when you're out there kissing them in the open.
Well, right. I think
It's
at this
like,
point,
at this point,
I
it's
don't
not
think you can
speculation.
argue that this is speculation. I think that's
Right.
like she's
It's just
making
like,
this.
she's making
right.
it known. So whatever. But it's like, you know, I think a lot of the people, and I find it honestly a bit odd how people are like, baby's coming, wedding coming, can't wait to see their kids, can't wait to see. That's just like a little too much.
Well, especially
little
because
too
again,
much.
she literally in her last like new album, she said all that they want from me is
Yeah, that 1950s
right.
shit they want from me.
Right.
It's like, this is, again, that kind of low-key conservative mindset where it's like, blonde hair, blue-eyed, beautiful people coming together and
She's getting
creating
older. She has
babies.
to have babies and get married.
Exactly. She's
Yeah.
in her 30s. She needs to have kids. I
Yeah.
think they're both going to settle down. What about Taylor Swift and her mastermind, plotting, scheming, ass, crazy self gives
With
you,
all due respect.
I say with love.
Yeah.
Like, what about her makes you stop and say, she's settling down soon?
Yeah.
I don't think she's anywhere close to settling
I
down.
agree.
She still has two masters to, or two,
Re-records.
masters to kind of like take back, 2 re-records. She, is currently on a tour, constantly adding new dates to said tour. I have a feeling she's going to just drop a new album in the
Right.
middle of the re-records like
Yeah.
she did with Midnights. Like, I don't think anything about her is slowing down.
And also, clearly nothing about Travis is slowing down. You know, if,
Right.
again, for those of you who haven't seen the documentary of him and his brother basically was like, this is now my time to retire. And then he didn't retire.
He didn't
like,
retire.
And Travis is younger than him.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone is delusional enough to think that Travis is like going to say, okay.
Travis is in much better shape than Jason is.
Right. No offense to Jason. But like,
No, but Jason's like literally like, my body hurts.
right. No, like he's
I
physically
can't
not
even
okay. Right. Right.
function.
Right.
And the amount of pain medicine that I need to take,
Right.
that's like an issue.
Right.
So it's like, but I definitely don't see Travis slowing down anytime soon. So
Right.
I just think it's a lot. I think we need to rein our horses in.
Mm-hmm.
And if they end up together, wonderful. But if they do not, I honestly would not be shocked and surprised.
I also just think it is really interesting because when you look at, how people were about her ex Joe,
Mhm.
The general consensus was, oh, this is a perfect relationship. Everything is so perfect. Joe is so great. And that was the narrative for 6
And
years.
I never agreed.
But
okay.
beside the point, that's what the
Right.
majority of her
Yeah.
fans believed.
Right.
And that was the narrative for 6 years.
Mhm.
Then she releases Midnights shortly after they
Immediately,
basically
I was
announced.
like, oh, they broke up.
Right. Well,
Like,
first of all,
I
Folklore
knew-
and Evermore were
Folklore
giving.
and, yeah,
I'm
Folklore
broken
and
up.
Evermore is like, it's fictional. It's not about my
Right.
life. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
She was unhappy for
she
a
releases
while.
Midnights. She basically, her team announces that they have separated.
Mhm.
And then, it didn't happen immediately, but shortly after that, all the fans flipped on Joe. And everyone's
Oh.
like, well, look, the signs were always there that he didn't let her go
But when
out and
people-
be bejeweled. Like,
Which is
that's a
improper
whole-
grammar.
Right. No, be
Oh, no.
bejeweled.
Be bejeweled. But they yeah.
People say he lets her be jeweled. That's not how you say that.
Lets her
But
bejeweled.
backtrack.
He lets her
backtrack.
be bejeweled.
Backtrack. But I think it is so interesting that again, people immediately when she, other than Maddie Healy, which
again is probably why to sit here and say Taylor does not need PR. Let's think about what has happened in the last year.
Right.
She broke up from Joe. Immediately after that, Rolling Stone, which she is directly in cahoots with, post an article. Why do people think Taylor Swift is gay? Okay. She never came out and denounced that article. She fact
instead
went to Rolling Stone right a month after they promoted that or posted that article and said, here is a exclusive for you all.
Right.
Okay. So now it's like rumblings of her, being LGBT. I'm not talking about it. And then she goes and dates Maddie Healy right after her breakup, who literally was the most problematic person.
He had a lot going on.
The most problematic person. So what does she need right at this moment to prove she is not licking puss and she is not dating a racist? Let me go and date a wholesome boy.
Right.
Which to me still kind of low-key
Right.
But whatever. It's like she and people were mad at her for flying her private jet. And again, people were not feeling her in the, like, when you take a step out of the fandom bubble.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back. It's white girls, right? Men, like I said, do not like her. You know, you don't go to a concert and see many people of color. So when you then have Maddie Healy making racist comments, what do you do right after that? Oh, Karma featuring Ice Spice.
Yeah. Well,
Which
it was
I'm
also
not saying was directly related.
Well, it was directly related for sure, but not because of races, but it's because he made comments about Ice Spice.
Right.
That was what
too.
It was literally comments about her.
So
that was a
direct.
I'm sorry, that was a direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of making a public announcement, because other than being seen holding hands, we never saw them kiss, whatever. They did that stupid, like, on stage, you know who you are, you know this is about you, I love you, like 2 days apart.
Right.
But they never were confirmed dating, but still. She felt like in order for me to not have to go and make a statement about some sleazeball that I decided to rebound with, I'm just going to go and feature the one person he was talking shit about.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go and date somebody who is wholesome. It may be problematic in his own relationship, personal life, but as far as we know, he hasn't made any like racist tweets.
Right.
Like, I feel like that would have been found by now.
Yeah.
So of course she needs PR right now.
Right. But I just think it's so interesting the way that people, when, not even just her, but when celebrities in general, you know, start dating someone new, unless, again, like Maddie Healy, there's very evident problems going on there, they immediately are like, this is the one for them. This is the one. And they're like, they are going to get married.
Every single boyfriend.
But what happens but my question is, they're going to do exactly what they did to Joe. They are going to, the second that they break up, which I'm not wishing that on them, but if that happens, they're going to say, well, yeah, look, he was a cheater. Right. Everybody knew it.
Everything I'm saying now, people are going to disagree with me, and people are going to say, like, you need to stop theorizing, and you need to stop, and you need to let them be happy. But the second they break up, they're going to be like, oh, he was a fuckboy, and oh, this, and oh, he's a play. Like, okay,
I think that people
that just now. So.
I think just in general in life, people need to be a little bit more comfortable with just questioning things that they see. You don't have to take it too far. You don't have to like really deep dive and go crazy over it, but just always have a little bit of, you know,
PR.
Does this make sense?
Like, I just think as mastermind as Taylor Swift is, as much as she can say everything I wear means something, everything I say means something, everything I don't say means something. Here's a music video with 142 Easter eggs. You will never find all of them. For somebody who says that, I feel like a lot of her fan base are just people who take things at face value with her. And I think that's the biggest mistake that you can do.
Yeah.
I think she's literally somebody who everything she does, which must be so exhausting.
Yeah.
But she has the mind of a capitalist, and everything she does is to get more money, is to keep people happy with her,
keep people
interested. But also, I'm sure, in a way, there's things in there that are just for her.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people find those little nuggets where other fans are like, it can't be. No. Because look, in front of our face, she is kissing Travis Kelce. It cannot be. Mm-hmm. Like, I just think people need to have a little bit of critical thought.
I agree.
And I think that with every celebrity relationship.
Yeah.
If you read 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, you'll understand. That book has changed my mind about everything. Being famous is a show. Being a celebrity is a show. And yes, they're real humans, of course, and we need to be mindful of that. But the public persona that they put out is typically and usually much different.
And
Sure,
also,
there are
it's
some
probably-
celebrities who you hear what you see is what you get, but there's a reason they have agents. There's a
and it's
reason
for
they
their
have
own
PR.
protection. Like,
Right.
it's literally to protect their peace and their sanity, because who would want every aspect of their personal life out there? That
Right.
Again, that's literally what Taylor is always saying.
Yeah, what she says and what she does is quite different, and I think sometimes that pisses me off.
Yeah.
Especially because then the fans can never get along because they're always arguing, and it's like, Miss Girl, you can't sit here and make a whole stink about your life being on public display when you actively put it on display.
Yeah.
And it's like, sure, in the last relationship it made sense because you didn't want it on display, but like to re-release 1989 with that narrative still and then be doing what you're doing, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is the real intention here? But yeah, that's that on that. Taylor Swift. I'm sure there will be more talk of her, but I know not everyone that listens to our podcast is a Swiftie, which I think you all need to expand your minds and open your palate a little bit.
I agree.
But
She has lots of different types of music.
that's neither here nor there. So just like an hour ago, Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer posted their RIPs to Matthew Perry. Lisa Kudrow is the only one that is left to say something.
They all made a joint statement.
They made a joint statement to like the press. Again, PR. They're so famous. Why do they need PR? But yeah, so they made a joint statement, but now they're like 2 weeks after they're like posting. Jen's ripped my heart. I mean, they all did, but like I feel like you can tell that him and Jen were like the closest. So that's very sad.
Yeah.
That's very sad. Also, I feel like in a way this is kind of what I hate that of the week. It's not, but I just felt so terrible. He died. First of all, I listened to his audiobook during spring travel earlier this year. Amazing read, I'm sure, but listening to him and his own voice and like all of that, it was really funny and gut-wrenching and all this. But to like listen to that and then he dies, and then to have people be like, that's what drugs does, and addict and blah blah, and like doubting his sobriety, which the autopsy still I don't think has come out. But it's like he has said he is sober.
Right.
The cops said there were no drugs or alcohol found at the scene.
Well, they said that there were things that
he was prescribed.
Right.
But it's not like the
It's like
pill bottle
it's like a
was
COPD
like
medication.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
lung disease meds.
Right.
And it's just like he worked so hard for that sobriety and like made it his mission to like help others. And he is a man in his 50s who had a 2% chance of living in this coma that he was in a few years ago. Like his lungs are not good. His heart is not good. His health is not good. And he is now, according to his Instagram, been soaking in his hot tub every day.
Right.
It's like, well, there's literally always legal warnings about do not use a hot tub for extended periods of time if you have medical conditions.
Right.
So no shit, he's probably working up a sweat, dehydrating himself, building up his blood pressure.
Right.
He has a heart attack and he drowns.
Yeah.
I cannot stand the people that are like, well, it's because he was on Epstein's flight log. And like all these conspiracies. It's like, again, when I was talking about the Taylor, like the celebrity thing of like they are still humans at the end of the day. It's like these are humans that they're trying. Imagine your best friend, imagine your brother dies, right? And people just assume the worst of that person and their death and make up some contrived, crazy conspiracy. It's just such poor taste and disgusting.
Well, I think it's also just very sad because really the bottom line is even if the toxicology report came back and he, did take drugs or he was drunk or something,
that still doesn't mean he deserved it.
And that doesn't take away the fact that he was sober for many, many years.
Right.
That he still saved a lot of people. He helped a lot of people with their addiction, and to minimize it all down to what he technically died of, I think is so disappointing and is really just doing a disservice to everybody who is in recovery, because just because you have a slip up doesn't mean that all of that work you put in was worthless.
Right.
Like, it's tragic that he died, and you can argue that even if it comes back that there was nothing, yes, like, the fact of the matter is, because of his years and years and years of drug use, like, that is what caused his prior problems, which likely resulted in his death.
Yeah.
But that's that. Like it's still fucking tragic, you know?
It is. And yeah, I mean, again, I think as a society, it's like in times like that, why wouldn't we want to highlight the good? It's like we only just want to focus on the negative, and it's like, why, bring people down.
Mm-hmm.
It's like his family can see this shit that you're saying,
Right.
It's just
Not even just his family. Again, it's your family. It's people like
that's
people
true, yeah.
like the people that you post to when you talk about this. You could have someone in recovery in your family, in your friend group,
Yeah.
and by you highlighting that aspect of his life and his death, you are essentially judging everyone that you know who also is in recovery.
Yeah.
And that, again, to me is, I think, the saddest part.
Yeah. I mean, also too, it's like, I feel like there's something we don't know, because all the people that did know him have like put in their post, like, you're free now, and there's no more pain. And like, I'm like, do they mean like physical? Do they mean like mental? Because it seemed like, I don't know. We don't know.
Maybe
what
they
went
just
on in
mean
his
struggling because he was an addict. Like,
life. I guess.
I just assumed that that's what they meant, but maybe you're right. Maybe there was something that we didn't know.
You know what I mean? Because everyone, it's like, if I don't know. I mean, you can tell reading the book that it's just, he's a very like tormented person, I think. It's like, I think his brain is 1,000,000 miles an hour, kind of. And just listening to him read his book, it's like you can just tell that there is so much in his life that he feels bad about. I mean, he did like the press, like the interviews where they're like, watch this old clip of Friends and tell us what you think. And instead of like laughing and finding the joy in it, he's like, I feel bad for that guy. Like, that's the skinniest I ever was, like the highest I ever was. So like, to go and make this show that has made millions and billions of people so happy over years, like, it's still as popular as it was when it was coming, well, more or less. It's like, and you didn't get to enjoy that while it was happening, I think is the saddest part.
I agree.
Well, it brings us so much joy. For him, it was such a painful time. But that's what happens with a lot of, he said, like, if I didn't make people laugh, I like wanted to die. Most like comedians, Robin Williams, like the people who put on the biggest show tend to like have the most that they're like hiding. And I just feel very, very bad. But what I also forgot when reading his book was that his stepfather is the Dateline guy, Keith Morrison, who Bill Hader is obsessed with. It's like, as soon as like his death was announced, Keith Morrison from Dateline, whatever, and then my algorithm was algorithming because it brought up Bill Hader meeting Keith Morrison, and I'm like, imagine that's your stepdad. Like, his voice is so, I can't even. But yeah, it was sad all around. But now people are, the cast are finally making statements, which I also was annoyed about. People like, why didn't they say anything? It's like, again,
that's their
very close friend.
Right.
The last thing I'm sure that they're worried about is, let me go and tell the general public how he made me feel. Like, what? We're not owed anything. Like, they could have never posted about it and been like, well, it's just the expectations that we put on people to go and like, it's just like, they're in mourning. That shit can take months, years to fully like process and get over. And you want to Instagram post the day it happens. Right. Not going to happen. No. Long shot. But in the spirit of laughter and enjoying Friends, you are one of like the biggest Friends fans that I know.
That
you're not obsessed.
I was I was the kind of person who I'd come home from school and I'd watch Friends first on I think it was on CBS or TBS or something like that, and then I'd watch on the CW. Like it was on 2 different channels, 2 different times, and I'd watch them both. Like basically
And
2
it's
hours
like the
of
same
Friends.
10 episodes that they always
No,
distribute.
well, what was actually fun, the way that they did it was each station did play it from start to finish in chronological order. So like I'd be watching, season 2 first, and then I'd skip ahead and it'd be season 5. But like because I watched it every day, it was technically chronological order. Just
I always felt like it was just like, I felt like the episodes might have been back to back in order, but I just felt like they picked like a random group of episodes.
At least from my memory, I don't think that it was like that. I'm pretty sure that it was chronological per station, because there were 2 different stations, at least for me, that played it.
Well, I want to, and folks at home, if you're Friends fans, you can play along with this.
I hope I get something
I want to quiz you on your Friends knowledge. Although this BuzzFeed articles preface it with 182 questions and answers. We're not going to do all 182.
I don't even know that I know 182 things.
But we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Ready? Mikey. What stuffed animal does Joey own?
Penguin.
Yep, correct. What is the name of Chandler's ex-girlfriend who punches him in the face?
That punches him in the... Is it Janice? Did she punch him in the face? I don't think so.
No.
I don't know this one.
Kathy.
Oh, I do know that one.
This one is so easy, I don't even want to ask it. But what does Ross famously scream when trying to help his friends move a couch?
Pivot.
Pivot! Okay, what is the name of Phoebe's most famous song?
Smelly cat.
This is very easy. What is the name of Joey's soap opera character who has a twin?
He is...
You don't know this?
I do know it, but give me a second.
Oh.
Because I'm thinking of the twin's name, the evil twin. Hold on. He is Dr. Ramore.
Yes, Dr.
And it's Drake Ramore.
Yes, good job. What is the name of Ross and Monica's dog when they were kids?
I don't know.
Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi, yes.
Okay. How does Joey say he knows Mike when he sets Phoebe up on the blind date? I feel like that's so specific.
I'm assuming it's something to do with his family. It's probably like his mom's hairdresser's son or something like that.
No, met him in high school is the answer.
Oh.
Yeah. How does Dr. Drake Ramore die in Days of Our Lives?
He falls down an elevator shaft.
Yep.
Because they killed him off.
Yep. Okay. Let's see here. What's the name of Mr. Tribbiani's mistress?
I don't know. I don't even know that I remember
Ronnie. Yeah, that's a very obscure one too. What does Monica cook for the stoned guy? Maybe she's not as big of a fan as I thought.
I mean, I haven't sat and watched a show in
A
genuinely years.
moose-bouche.
Oh. Yes.
I know my mom is going to be at home and hear me say a moose-bouche and want to punch the radio.
I do remember this episode now.
Oh my goodness.
Stone
We'll do a couple more. Let's see here. In the trivia game Among the Friends, what does Rachel think Chandler's job is?
Transponster.
There you go. Yep. How many categories of towels does Monica have?
Like 15? I don't know.
11.
11.
Let's see here. We'll do one more. What's the name of the prize Ross and Monica fight over while playing football?
It's like the Geller family trophy. It's like something with the Gellers. Like it's their family's thing.
The Geller Cup.
The Geller Cup.
There you go. Everyone at home, add up your total. And if you got it wrong, I mean, there's no way for us to know. So we're just going off of Scout's honor here. So feel free to write into us, cancomplainpod@gmail.com. I believe that's the email. And let us know how many questions you got right. But
And we'll
yes.
respond with a, okay, great.
We won't do anything with that information other than wonderful. But yes, so we had our Friendsgiving as well
We did.
recently. To move on to a different Friends subject, Friendsgiving.
Our friends.
Yes. If you were not invited, I am so sorry. People are going to listen to us talk about this, and they're going to be like, where is the invite?
Really, the truth of the matter is we had no room.
No room.
This was by far our biggest yet.
So year over year, I mean, we've had Friendsgiving, I think, like 7 or 8 years in a row now. Like, it's our annual,
I'm pretty sure this is our 8th.
yeah, our annual thing. It started off as like 4 people.
Yeah, it was like the 2 of us,
And
our
then,
roommate, and one other person.
Yeah, like it was start off very small, and then year over year, we're just like, okay, we'll invite, this friend and that friend. And then some years we like did not have friends.
Yeah.
So it was not
It
that
was like
big.
very small. During COVID, it was our one friend who was in our pod who came
Lauren.
over. Yeah.
Oh, she wasn't on our pod.
In our pod, our COVID pod.
Oh, shout out Lauren. Yeah. And so it was just like, meh, we're just sitting here. But once it was safe to come back, group people together, we did, and it was a very good time. And I don't know, I guess as we get older, we just start accumulating more friends, which is nice.
So exciting.
It's exciting. For many years we're like, great, we have 3 people that we know and love.
Well, also I
Which
think
is
it's
fine.
kind of doubling now because now, of course, we're in that age where a lot of our friends
are getting
getting married or have a partner of some sort.
so it's like we're friends with 2 people instead of just 1.
Right.
But and this is not to bring down the 3 friends that we had and that we loved previously.
Well, they are the OGs. They've
The
been here from the
OGs
beginning.
from the start. Yeah. So we also had this year our friend Cody.
Yes.
Who I was friends with
thing.
from college. Cody moved to Las Vegas like 5 years ago, and I have not seen him in 5 years, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
But Cody attended. It felt like no time had passed at all. So we literally had people coming from far and wide for this Friendsgiving, and it felt very special to us. We knew that we would not be able to fit all 19 people in our living room.
For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you are seeing pretty much all of our apartment.
Pretty
like
much.
It's
this
not,
couch.
I wouldn't say that it is like the smallest.
No.
Typically when friends come in, they're like,
like,
oh, this is a big
"Wow."
space. But
I
like,
think it helps because our ceilings are kind of
yeah,
higher.
that is true. It's got like an extra 1.5 feet.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth of the matter is, again, coming from Florida, coming from a home, this is not the space that you want to entertain in. It's not even like we have multiple rooms. Like the room that you can hang out in is the living room, period. Like the kitchen is narrow. There is no
one's
space.
hanging, and we're cooking in there, so no one's hanging out in the kitchen. No one's hanging out in our bedroom because we are literally using it as a storage space.
Right,
like
for
we
everything that
literally
is typically in our living room,
we
it gets
move it
put
to the
into our
bedroom.
bedroom. Yeah.
So yeah, instead of having everyone come over at once, we said, hey, it starts at noon.
Yeah,
Feel
we
free to
staggered
come
it
and
this year.
go. And I liked it. I thought,
Yeah.
it was nice to see different people at different points of the day. It made it a challenge because we were still cooking a lot
Yeah.
of things. So it's like we couldn't really sit and mingle with them too much because we were cooking throughout the day. But, it was so nice to like have people come into our home and like.
That's always like the best part,
To just
fun.
be amongst friends.
Yeah. And everybody always brings food. Like it's, I guess it is basically a potluck. We usually cook like 3 or 4 dishes and then everybody brings something. It doesn't even have to be anything big. Like sometimes people just bring like rolls.
Which, listen,
you need rolls.
rolls bring me to life.
Yes.
Like I was just about to yawn. You said the word rolls. I said, I'm here.
Yeah. One year we had someone bring chairs because we didn't have enough chairs. So that was their gift to us, was their chairs that we used.
Which
But yeah.
was very helpful.
Yes.
But yes, I cannot wait until we have a home in which we can welcome everybody at the same time.
Right.
And there
That'll
doesn't
be a
need to
dream.
be shifts.
Right. And then there'll be like an outside space if people want to like get some fresh air. It'd be so great.
So nice.
Pig was very excited. Pig is always very excited. He gets a little
Too excited.
nervous, I think. He doesn't quite know what to do with himself. Yeah,
You know what
but
I mean?
he's a very good boy.
Yeah.
We're very lucky that he doesn't really like beg much. Like he'll sit next to
He'll
you.
sit and stare you down.
Right, but he won't. He knows he's not going to get anything. He does not actually expect to be given anything. So he's good in that regard. He's good in every regard.
He's He's just
perfect.
a perfect little baby.
Yep.
Angel, and that's it. Unfortunately, we would never be able to move to England because they have banned bully breeds. Which, like, fuck off. Did you ban dentists too? Because don't be talking about what dogs should be allowed in your country. Go get those teeth fixed.
I was having whiplash from that state. I wasn't sure where that was going.
Tuesday, isn't it?
Oh my god.
Every time I think of England and the accents, I just think of, like, I don't know, being a chimney sweep and, like, Les Mis. Sir, a crumb, sir. Mister, please, a crumb. It's like,
Speaking of, rest in peace to Harry Styles' hair.
oh, what does that have to do with?
I don't know. It's close.
He's English. He's British.
He's British. He's from there.
Wow.
Devastating.
That, yeah, truly. I had a few people write into me and say, because I expressed in my close friend's story that Harry being bald really has cured my attraction to him. And I had two folks who are a part of the hairless community who expressed their grievance. And listen, I don't mean it in the way of, like, if you're bald, you're ugly. I don't mean that. But when you're Harry Styles and you have a flow of wavy, curly, brown, beautiful locks,
Right.
and then you start to look like Sid, the terrible kid from Toy Story, I have an issue. I take issue with that.
My thoughts on this are I will not make any decisions on my attraction to him until I see an actual high quality photo and not like
Until you see him
not
dolled
like a
up with
CCTV.
makeup
No,
and,
like right now, all we literally have is like a random like CCTV like
2 pixel
0.5 lens like shot of the side of his head. He looks like a fucking alien. Like
Yeah.
I will not judge him on that. Good for him.
Well,
Good for him. He's on vacation. He's on holiday. And he shaved his head.
He's on holiday.
He's on holiday.
Well, I just think too, it's like when it comes to my attraction to men, typically they are very feminine men, kind of. Yes and no. Like
They toe the line.
they toe the line, right? Like, what do Robert Downey Jr., Harry Styles, and Joe Jonas all have in common? Like, they look like they would be bottoms. So it's just like, that's the vibe, right? And with you, same thing with you. I love long hair, like longer hair. But, like, again, men with, like, ponytails I don't love, right?
Yeah, no.
Like, man buns I don't love. But when a gentleman has a nice, good head of hair, that is my preference. I will be forthright and transparent with my viewers. Short hair. I don't know. To me personally, it's not giving femme enough for me. I need my men to be borderline feminine.
Right.
So that
you
is
need your men to be as close to being a woman
as possible.
Right.
Exactly. It's like, well, if you're going to be a man, I won't fully be unattracted to you. Not your fault, right? But I need you to be as close to a woman as possible for me to have that attraction. So, yeah, groundbreaking, devastating. I felt like I was going to vomit when I saw that.
I think people were going back and forth online for a while. They really didn't think it was real. And then it was. And that was when everybody kind of lost it.
The Harry Florals page, the comment sections are so fucking funny. The things that people say, like the video came out of him being bald. They're like, AI is so believable these days. Like, just they know that they were in denial and they were trying to stay in denial. Or when like they post like when Harry was making out with M. Rada in Japan, they were like, children are dying. Please delete.
Please delete.
People are sick. People are crashing their cars and dying. Yeah, it's very dramatic, but I love the drama. People are very funny sometimes. So yeah, I guess a lot has happened in pop culture in the month since that we've been, gone, almost a month. But it's the usual suspects.
At least for us.
At least
the ones we pay attention to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll continue to see what happens with Tayvis. My prediction is shortly after the new year, if Travis goes to the Super Bowl with the way Chiefs are playing, they won't. But if they do, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't foresee it lasting much into next year.
Yeah.
Personally. But that's just me.
Mm.
Again, I also think it's interesting that there's been a lot of talk with the Super Bowl. Will she, won't she? They're always saying that she's in talks for it, and then she never does it. I think it's all one big hype up to a future Super Bowl and her performing personally. But what do I know? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back with our I Hate That segment. Welcome back. All right, so what are we complaining about this week, babe?
I got something.
Ooh.
This is something that I can complain about every day.
Here
I
we
see
go.
it and I complain
Here we
immediately
are.
when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few things that drive me more crazy than when I'm walking
Mm-hmm.
and I see someone walking their dog
Mm-hmm.
off leash.
Yep.
First of all, for those of you who don't live in the city, I would imagine most cities have things like this, or even places that are not the city. But we have parks here that are not technically dog parks. They are human parks, but they have off-leash hours, which
Yes.
means that before the hour of 9 a.m. and after the hour of 9 p.m., you are allowed to be in the park with your off-leash dog.
Which it's like, who's going to go after 9 p.m. to a park with
Right.
their dog? Like, you
Right.
can't see.
Right. So that's
So
kind of
really,
a
it's
problem.
just before 9
Right.
a.m.
Right. So that's well and good. I still think that just using common sense, you shouldn't bring your dog to an off-leash dog hour if your dog doesn't know recall. And I say that as someone whose dog does not have perfect recall, but he's still really very good. So we occasionally will take him to off-leash hours. However, I would say that we're pretty good dog owners in the sense that if we see that there's commotion, we're on it. We go to our dog, we remove him, or we avoid whatever seems to be a problem because we don't need him getting
I'll
hurt.
say he's a very good boy.
Yeah,
It's
he just
not
likes to
that
sit and chew his ball.
Right. Like, if we give him a ball, recall is not needed because he doesn't leave our feet.
He doesn't
He
move.
just sits
Yeah.
there and chews the ball.
Yeah.
But he's a little dopey, and he's just like,
When he hears dogs barking, he's like, "Oh, what's going on? I want to play."
he's nosy.
So
as
he
fuck.
doesn't fully understand, I think, what happens. But that's part of the reason why we don't take him to the off-leash hours very often is because
Yeah.
we know our dog. And even though he's very, very good, we don't need him getting attacked by another dog.
Yeah.
So all that to say, it drives me crazy when I see somebody with a dog off-leash, specifically on the sidewalk, because
Your dog.
I'm sorry, your dog does not fully, even though it clearly, I've seen dogs that are very well behaved and are clearly well trained, but your dog does not fully understand what a sidewalk and a street is. I
No.
refuse to believe that an animal really truly understands the
and
difference.
why risk it?
Right. Because
Why
what
risk
happens
it?
what happens when there's a squirrel across the street? What happens when someone across the street calls your dog? There's a million things that could go wrong that could cause your dog to, one, run away, two, get hit by a car, or let's pretend like your dog is perfect. Let's just pretend your dog is the best trained dog on planet Earth. It understands what a sidewalk is. It understands the nuance of crossing the street during a crosswalk sign, all of that.
Right.
What happens when someone else who has a reactive dog who is on a leash starts coming towards your dog and tries to attack your dog? Now you have no handle of your dog because you don't have
None.
a leash to pull your dog back. There's just, again, so many things that could go wrong. And it just gives me so much anxiety because I think that all dogs deserve to have safe, healthy lives. And that to me is putting it into question.
Oftentimes, the people who do that walk around like their dog is, a human who is independent and does not need a leash. They oftentimes possess a characteristic, which is arrogance. Both. Arrogance. It's like, how are you so arrogant to think that your dog, you know what I mean? Because it's like, to your point of now you have nothing to pull your dog back. Not every dog is there are reactive dogs out there
Right.
for one reason or another.
Right.
And if there's someone in our neighborhood that does it with the crusty tiny white dog. I don't even know the breed. That's the breed, crusty white dog. That wanders up to Pig on his leash,
and starts barking at Pig nonstop.
Right, and like thankfully Pig is not a reactive dog.
Right.
Like he doesn't like males that are not neutered, but that's common.
And he just growls. Like he never has done
does
anything, and
he's
we
just like,
avoid it
"Bitch,
to
you
begin
got,
with.
You got your balls and I don't.
Right. He's like, that's not fair.
But it's just like, thankfully he's not a reactive dog. But like, what if that crusty white dog came up and then boom,
Pig attacked him. Right.
It's like, then it would be Pig's fault.
Right.
Which also, what gets my goat is other people who shit on our dog's name.
Yeah, that is a huge problem.
Many times
Would
people
you-
will either be
would-
like, oh, I love that name, or people will be like, Pig.
Right.
And then you can kind of tell that like
they're judging.
they're judging.
Yep.
And then sometimes we have people that are outright like, Pig? What kind of name for a dog is Pig? That boy should be named Recluse Adonis. I don't even know.
No, we literally had someone once say to us, he should be named Adonis. While yes, I agree he is gorgeous,
Right.
I'm not naming my dog Adonis. I'm not. Like,
No.
his name is Pig. That was the name he came to us with, and that is a name he will keep.
It's always so stupid. I'm sorry.
Would
Those
you, and I understand that he's an animal, but would you ever walk up to a human being and start shaming their name that they were
Right.
given? Like,
No.
rude.
It's literally the names that they concoct are just so crazy. Like, what was the other? It was Adonis.
It
we
was
hear.
Apollo Creed.
Apollo Creed.
And like, listen, good for
I'm
him.
sorry. If
Good
you
for him.
named your dog Apollo Creed, you're a fucking tool shed, dude. Like, you are a bag of tools.
The dog was so cute. The dog was so
I mean,
sweet.
it's not the dog's fault. But that's how people probably feel about Pig.
Probably.
But it's just like, Apollo Creed, dude, shut the fuck up, bro. It's like that man doesn't have a Ford F-150 to jack up and like
Right,
have
so
little dick
he's gotta-
behavior.
he's
So
gotta name
he
his
only
dog
has a
Apollo
dog
Creed.
instead of a car.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna name my dog Apollo Creed. Dude, shut up.
And the dog was dopier than Pig, which I think is the
It's
funniest part.
How again? We've seen the Adonis and we've seen the Apollo and we've seen the fucking Titan and
Yeah.
it's been done. It's like
Hercules.
Hercules.
Mhm.
I think I was looking for the name Hercules and not
Mhm.
Recluse.
Why would anyone name their dog Recluse? Hercules.
my brain mixed up the letters.
Recluse. Lilies.
I did not mean Recluse.
The brown recluse.
Okay. Hercules and not Recluse. I can't. Okay. But yeah, it's like that name has been done. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's lots of dogs named Pig.
Oh.
But again, he came to us with that name.
Right.
That
he
was his
an
given
owner.
name.
It was an owner surrender. I imagine when they surrendered him, they said this is his name.
You know what? I'm putting this out there, and maybe people who are listening who work for the ACC or any other dog shelter can let us know. Pig was an owner surrender. His owners walked him into the shelter and surrendered him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that they would have told them what his name was.
That's what I said, yes.
Right. But like, did they change his name? Because part of me almost feels as though they make up names at the shelter.
Well, of course they do.
I mean, I know they do for obviously strays who are just random dogs, but do they do that with owner surrenders? Because first of all, I don't think they should, because that would be kind of messed up.
Remember that dog that we saw on the page and he was still there in the
Ray
shelter?
Charles?
They named a dog Ray Charles. I want you to take a guess on what this dog looks like.
I'm going to pull up his photo. I'm going to pull this photo right now.
Put it on YouTube. This dog had bulging eyes that were not, they were crossed in the opposite direction, like
They were.
lazy eyes. And they named this dog with the funky eyes Ray Charles.
All right. So for those of you who are on YouTube, you can take a peek at Ray Charles. He will be up on
His
the screen.
eyes weren't as bad as I remember, but one is going a different direction.
He literally was so precious.
Back to the names. If you have a problem with my dog's name, sincerely,
We don't care.
go fuck yourself. Yeah.
What's your I hate that?
My I hate that is that I have such a small bladder
That's your I hate that.
because I'm thinking about how I have to pee right now.
I had to pee earlier and I just decided I'm just not going to go.
Well, I need to go first when we are done, when we're wrapped here.
Sure would be nice to have more than one bathroom.
But it's really a pain that I deal with every day. Like, it's bad. It's a struggle. I always have to pee at all times. It's like I will have a...
Is it your stomach
That
growling?
was my stomach. I need to eat. All I'm thinking about is the crumb cake.
I know.
Shout out to Frankie O, my dear friend who I used to work with. Francesca, I love you. I adore you because you've opened my eyes to what a good crumb cake is.
First of all, there's no such thing as a bad crumb cake. I don't know. When she brought this crumb cake in, immediately I said this is all mine because I don't think Amanda likes crumb cake. I have been a crumb cake stan since probably the day I was
but
born.
It's like I'd rather have a different pastry. But when it comes to her crumb cake,
All
there is
crumb
no
cake
other
tastes like this.
pastry I would want in this world but that crumb cake. And I'm sad because it's almost over.
Yeah, because we've eaten literally a massive tray of
Frankie,
it.
I need you to give me that recipe expeditiously. I don't know what you put in there. Maybe ketamine or
Oh my God, I don't think so. Cut that out.
something that is very addicting, because I find myself when I'm eating this, I'm hovering over the tin and I'm like scarfing it down. It is the most delicious.
It is.
Moist. It's so moist. It is the moistest cake I have ever had, and it's been like 4 days since Friendsgiving, and it's still spongy and moist and beautiful.
And it's not like sealed. Like, I mean, it's sealed, but it's not like airtight.
Yeah, no, it's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Back to drinking things instead of eating things. Yeah, literally, I can't hold my bladder, especially on road trips. And I drive a lot for work. I'm always pulling over. Always. Like, I'm always having to find a rest stop. Then there never is one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always having to find a McDonald's that's like 4 miles off the highway to use their restroom. It's bad. I lay in bed at night. I'm like, oh, I should pee. 5 minutes later, I'm like, well, I feel like I need to pee again. Every single time I sit down on the toilet, pee comes out.
There's going to be like a doctor who's listening to this who's going to like reach out and say, this is, and they're going to tell you what it is.
You literally have like bladder cancer. God forbid. God forbid. But yeah, no, it's, I live on WebMD actually.
Did you see the Spotify Wrapped WebMD post?
I need that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was that we were talking about, but on the day of Friendsgiving, I was like, what if I had leprosy?
Yeah.
And then I look up the symptoms of leprosy.
I don't know why you said that, but you said it. And the funny thing is I've always had like such a
I think my brain just
thing
thought it
with
and
leprosy.
I said it. You've had a thing with leprosy.
Yeah, no judgment to anybody who has leprosy because it's like, I'm so sorry. But when I was a child.
I don't think anyone listening to this podcast has leprosy.
You never know. When I was a child, my dad worked a show called Ben-Hur. And in Ben-Hur, there were people who had leprosy. And they made it out to be like, I mean, the most horrific disease any human could possibly have. Mm-hmm. And like in the Bible, like they talk about it in the Bible all the time. And like, I
don't know that book very well, but
yeah, it just literally seemed like the worst thing that could possibly happen to you. And so I had such a phobia of that for a while. And then I found out that armadillos carry, what's it called? It's called
it's some
Hansen's disease.
Hansen's. Yeah. Well, yeah. I looked at the symptoms, the list of symptoms for leprosy, and I pretty much checked every box except the lesions,
which is the box. Like,
but
you don't
the
have leprosy.
symptoms that I experience are symptoms of everything: fatigue, achy joints,
right? tired, headache. Yeah.
That literally is a symptom of every illness.
Yeah.
So I really, based on that, could have every illness possible.
It was like frequent pee, frequent urination. You're like, oh,
Check.
that's me. Check.
But I need to know if other people have this issue as well. And what can I do? Like, I heard maybe I need to train myself to hold it longer. Like, where it's like, just because you have the bathroom accessible to you doesn't mean you should go every single time, because then your bladder gets weaker and weaker.
Yes, I have heard that.
So maybe
I think
just
it's just that you're old.
Okay, you're older than me.
And I also have a weak bladder.
My cousin texts me asking, how old are you? I said 28. She goes, Jesus Christ. I'm like, you're not much younger than me, but pop off, sis.
Well, on the flip side, I had the shoot I did on Sunday. So I was talking to like the two little kids who were sweet as can be. And they asked me how old I was. And I was like, oh, I just turned 29. And the mom said, what? And I was like, yeah, I just turned 29. She's like, oh my God. Almost like first of all, she wasn't even, the kid said that she was 41, which is not even remotely old. Like, that's like barely 10 years older than me, which to me, like, I have friends who are that age. Like, that's like not old to me, which maybe it's just my own brain prepping myself for being that old, because like I'm telling myself, no, you're not that old. But like, I don't know. That was
It's
just so
not.
funny to me that she's like, oh my God, like, you're so young. But I'm like, I'm really like just a normal age. We're all young. We're all young.
Yeah.
If you're 60, you're young.
Well, that's the thing is, like, as I've gotten older, aka I'm still very young, I think back to my teens and like my young 20s, where it's like, oh my God, that person is 38. They're all, it's like, are we though? Again, like Matthew Perry dying 54. Like, when I think about the people in my life who died, like my great grandmother was like 90. Okay, that's old.
Right.
But like my grandfather was like 60 something. To me, like, you should not be dying in your 60s.
Yeah.
Like, that's young.
Yeah.
54, Matthew Perry's 54. Like, my mom is in her 50s. Like, that's way too young.
Yeah.
You know,
I
but
mean,
as
to
a kid,
me,
if someone
yeah.
told you, oh, they died at 54, you'd be like, wow, they lived a long life.
No,
like,
I don't know what that is. It's so interesting, because genuinely to me, I see in my brain, people in their 40s are like my age, which I know is like really not true.
I think we're more mature. We're mature.
But that, I mean, genuinely, it's like people in their, I'm like, okay, like we're pretty much on the same plane.
we
People in their
live-
50s, I'm like, you're almost in the same plane as me. We're
Because
pretty much
we
the same.
live like that, which
I
I'm
guess.
happy about.
Yeah.
We're not going out. We're not partying, you know, like we're literally like, let's stay at home and lay with our dog and watch TV and
read
cook
a
a
book.
meal and
Yeah.
read a book. Yeah, but I like that though.
No, I agree.
I think
Yeah.
quarantine was really that shift for me, where I was like, between my like young 20s and my mid to late 20s, where it was just like, all right, I've been at home. I realized I don't need to go out. I realized I don't need these things to like make me happy. I really do not enjoy drinking. Like, I'll have a cider because I like how a cider tastes, but I have one or two and I'm done. Like, I don't even get drunk from that. You know, it's just like, why do I need this? Go out, spend a ton of money. That's, and I hate that too. It's like the whole process of going out. Going out, standing in a crowded bar, you can't even hear each other. What? Hey, yeah, do you want another? What? You want another? Oh yeah.
I'd just
It's
rather
like,
someone come over and just like sit in peace and quiet.
yeah, let's
play a game.
chat. Let's play games. We love a game night.
Yeah, literally
Our
at
friends know
Friendsgiving.
us as game nights.
At Friendsgiving, it wasn't a game night because there just isn't time.
No, but I still found the time to explore or to explain
the game.
games.
Like, she literally pulled out a board game and like explained the rules of a game that we were not going to play
We're so
to our friends.
We are nerds, but you as well, but we're nerds.
Yeah.
And I hope our friends love that about us.
I think they do.
But yeah, if you have a small bladder, write in to cancomplainpod@gmail because I don't know what to do. I don't, and I feel like somehow my fault. Maybe Kegels will work.
I think you just need to not go to the bathroom as often.
Well, and then I have been trying to drink more water because you tell me I need to drink more water. I hate drinking water. But then every time I do,
Never understood that.
Every time I do, it makes me pee so bad.
One of my biggest I hate that's is I
Water is boring.
genuinely do not understand how people don't like water.
It's boring.
But what do you mean boring?
I only like water if it's like super cold, because kind of like soda, it gets you right there.
Dr. Kim would not approve this message.
Her acupuncturist, who's
Every time-
always upset at us for drinking cold
Every time
water.
we go to acupuncture, which highly recommend, it's the greatest thing. Every single time, he'll like put his hand on my belly and he'll go, it's cold. He said, you have bad digestion. You must be drinking cold water.
Oh.
He's right, but I don't feel like I have bad digestion.
Ultimately, I hate that is my body is falling apart, and
At the ripe age of 28.
I need to understand why. I don't know if it's like I need to go back to the gym. I've been trying to do things that like help me maintain good health, like vitamin. Oh, I feel like Wendy Williams. But it's like I'm trying to take my vitamins. I'm trying to do like my skincare. I've been saying we need to like go back to the gym for the cardio and the heart. I've been taking like fish oil, like, because I look at my family history and we're a fucking mess. Like everyone, dementia and arthritis and lupus and diarrhea and nausea and heartburn and indigestion. It's like this all is hereditary, and I need to watch it. So guys, the moral of the story is if you're at home with a dog named Recluse Hercules, you're a tool. And if you...
But pig is the perfect name.
But pig is the perfect name. And if you also have achy bones, fatigue, small bladder...
You do not have leprosy.
You do not have leprosy. It's going to be okay. But... we've missed you all. We are, again, excited to be back. We hope to, in the holiday season, when things slow down for Mikey, be a little more active. Of course, we had a guest last episode. We do not have one today. Don't worry. More guests are on the horizon. And, look, we now have both mics are upgraded
Two
for our
fancy
YouTube
mics.
viewers at home. We're really investing in this, so we don't want to abandon it. But if it continues to not go well, we're just, you won't hear from us again in the new year.
Yeah. This will be it.
So no, we will be back with a holiday episode and hopefully more. And thank you all for sticking through. It's good to be back. We missed you. Happy Thanksgiving. We hope that you're giving thanks to the ones you love. We are giving thanks to you for being listeners, and we can't wait to see you again. Anything you want to say about where they can find us on social media, Bug?
They can find us on all social medias. We are on Instagram.
Yep.
We are Can Complain Pod.
Can Complain Pod on Instagram and on TikTok.
And that's it.
You said all social media. I'm like, really, just two.
Medias.
Can Complain Pod on Instagram and on TikTok. You can find us on YouTube at Can Complain Pod. Again, feel free to leave us a written review on Apple. 5 stars on Apple, 5 stars on Spotify. I still need to hunt down who left a 1-star fucking review on Spotify. I have not forgotten about you, you son of a fucking bitch.
They're going to go back on a different account and leave another 1-star review after that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you think I'm going to be trying to win them over.
Yeah.
All of the off-leash dog owners of the world are going to come out and leave a 1-star review. Whatever. Fuck it. I don't care.
But you know what? They should be protecting their dog. It's not out of hate. It's out of love for your pet.
Love.
Truly.
Well, out of love for you all, we're going to end it here. We thank you all so much. Follow us on socials. Leave some love. We're thankful. And we will see you again soon.
Adios.
Bye-bye.